I watched Universal's show, and by the way, we do need to drop that link. I'll find it and drop your show from this morning's link because it's worth watching. Um, it just surprised me to see this. Now I've gone back and done a quick down and dirty look at it. A lot of, excuse me, a couple local news stations are noting, that something's happening, but it hasn't hit the national news yet. So welcome aboard, Universal.
Yes, greetings, and thanks for having me and doing this impromptu show. Looking forward to the conversation. I'm willing to take the conversation wherever you want to go, Stanley.
Well, no, it's mostly you. You're the professional. I'm just saying that this particular headline, and
Yes,
let me let and knowing you've probably done some research on it. I did not.
I have.
Uh, other than the program was announced, it caught some heat, and mostly it's Mayor Scott, his office, and then a couple, black newspapers. The black press has kind of latched onto it, but even then, it's local, and a couple local news stations. So, this hasn't been run through the, the verification mill, but I think it's still worth, doing a show around. So, and I'll restate, there's nothing wrong with black people. Most black people don't live in the hood, uh, and it's actually a very slim majority don't even live in what we would call urban areas. So, and I just haven't had the time to go and kind of refine my search. But the bottom line is, this is not a black people problem from coast to coast. If there is high crime in inner city neighborhoods, it's not necessarily a reflection on all black people. I would argue it's not even a reflection on black culture. All cultures are faceted, multifaceted. And, when you want to start talking gun culture, well, America has always been a gun culture. When America catches a cold, black people catch the flu. But, that's due to historical things. There are correlations out there. The notion that there's something wrong with black people just doesn't sit right. And you know what? I know what the statistics are. The statistics are per capita. If you want to look at rates and stuff like that, yeah, they're high, but that still doesn't imply that there's something wrong with the culture or wrong with people. Um, and you didn't specify genetics, but it just sounded like something that a white supremacist would say. There's something wrong with black people. So that's my side of the argument.
Understood. Thank you. And I haven't 100% gone down the direction of is if it's genetics or not. I have landed currently that there's a cultural element within urban black culture, or urban black people, that is leading to the problems that we have today. Whether we're talking about gun violence, intimate partner violence, um, we can look at how that violence spreads to various different institutions such as school and school suspensions, things of that nature. There's a cultural issue. Now, genetically, I do think there's an argument there, but I'm not 100% willing to go down that road just yet. And the reason for that is, I'm going to localize my argument a little bit here. I've seen how other ethnic groups who've adopted urban black culture have also fallen victim to gun violence, drug addiction, domestic violence, and crime, and just general crime. But they're following a pattern. I think there's something to be said there around urban criminality, that a lot of black people have adopted over the last 50 years or so. I'll put 50 years or so. And when I say localized, I look at Somali immigrants who are now and Somali Americans. They're about three generations in here in the Twin Cities. I look at the Native American population, even though it's not large. The urban natives really do struggle, very similar as blacks do. And to a certain extent, I look at the Hmong population, which is one of our bigger Asian ethnic groups that we have here in Twin Cities. Now, they're not 100% involved in this, but they have small pockets where they also are showing some of these issues and concerns as well. So I think there's more of a cultural issue than a genetic issue. But I do think that the genetic issue, the question of is this a genetic issue or problem, does have some merit and should be questioned and should be deliberated on.
Okay, well, that genetic argument has been questioned, you know, for 100 years. Okay, and thank you for being very specific when you pinned urban.
Yes.
I don't think that there is a problem with Black people. Like I said, it's nurture. You saying that, other other groups that have kind of adopted the urban lifestyle, kind of, you know, uh, mimic, maybe not to the same degree. There's nothing wrong with Black people. There is something wrong with living in a pressure cooker of an urban environment. Black culture is not urban culture and vice versa. Urban Black culture is part of Black culture. And that's really my only argument. There's nothing wrong with Black people. There are pockets of, Black people who, poverty correlates, a lot of things kind of correlate. And I really, my ears prick up when I hear someone just generalize to the degree that I heard earlier.
Yeah. And I do see
And well, let me say one more thing.
Mhm.
What happens in the inner city, the crime rates and stuff like that, does not reflect on the larger legacy Black American culture. It is literally um, racist to assume so. People get sloppy because of racist behaviors and racism in general. Okay, it's easy to just say Black people have a problem. It takes a little bit more brain power to target specific areas of Black culture or the Black demographic that have the problem. And, quite frankly, I don't appreciate that sloppiness.
So for you, Stanley, when does it become a generalized thing? Is it a certain
Never. It,
time
it
mark?
never,
Okay.
never does.
And
should
that
you should
go ahead.
always be specific. That is almost like a scientific method thing.
Sure.
You never make generalizations unless you are absolutely not sure. Okay, and I think at this point in 2025, we kind of know where the problems are. And I will uh, reiterate, racializing crime is part and this is my opinion, and I really don't even have the numbers to back this up or data that would back up this point. It's more an intuitive thing. Racializing crime, Black crime in particular, is part of why it continues to be a problem. Okay, when it becomes an American problem to solve, there will be, money, technique, intelligence. There will be resources that bears down to fix the problem or at least understand what the problem is. There are too many be braves, Black and white, in America that are just willing to go, it is a Black problem, and leave it at that. It has been going on for quite some time. And this is why we still have the problem. Now, again, I would have to sit down and kind of, write a whole paper on it, but it's my gut feeling.
And I would say that there are resources dedicated to dealing with this problem. And I would also say that this problem is racialized, whether it's stated by the folks who are offering the resources or not. When you look at the data, we're mostly talking about African American people, and it's from state to state.
And if you break off the African American people and isolate the problem that way, it is literally racialized. It is too easy for folks to go, well, that's a black problem. They need to fix it. I hear it fucking every day on B Brave's show and a lot of other shows. When it becomes an American problem, it will be solved.
And yes, and I'm not going to bring Bree Brave, and I'm just going to speak from my own
Well,
perspective.
no, I'm just going to be sloppy and bring his dumb ass into it.
That's fine. That works for you. But I think that
Oh, it works for me, and it just happens to be the truth.
okay. And I would say that a lot of the funds, I mean, we're talking multiple millions of dollars are going into solving this problem. And I made this point on my stream earlier.
Okay, let me stop you there. Solving the black problem is not working.
I
Making
agree.
it an American problem. Okay, don't just have like black think tanks or people donating money to solve the black problem in the inner city. Make it an American problem, and you will be surprised at the resources that come to bear to solve the problem.
So the approach that I'm taking to my answer is that America or our government is attempting to solve this problem without naming it a black problem. However, all the data, when broken down by race, highlights that it is actually a black problem. The
And you know
authors,
what? Let's talk about data. Okay, that's the other thing. Data doesn't tell you shit. What it does, you no, no, no. Laugh if you must. I actually understand numbers. I understand numbers well enough to know numbers don't mean anything. It's the narrative given to the trends. Okay, and the trends, no one doubts. I have no doubt that the higher crime areas, the violent crimes, etc. No, I'm not going to dispute that because that is the truth. I'm saying that the narrative you give to it, if you know that the black community, nationally has high murder rates, let's just look at murder rates.
yeah.
Um, Saying it's a black murder rate means it'll never be solved. America is not famous for solving problems if it doesn't affect white people. And I think when you want to throw out numbers, you literally buy into, hey, it's a black problem, therefore it is up to black people to solve.
And I would say that in many of these cities, it is starting to affect quote unquote white people or American infrastructure. And that's why we're seeing different strategies and approaches to this problem. I can point at the Twin Cities as an example. Right now, downtown Minneapolis is pretty much a ghost town. Many of the businesses have left downtown Minneapolis. And the reason for that is due to the crime that majority black people are causing.
Okay.
And
And
they,
then
and they've
I'm just
had
going to have to back it up because I am not interested, and you keep making the same argument, and so am I. If it is a black people problem, it will never be solved. Hasn't been, won't be. And the parallel I can think of is back in the 80s when I was a teenager, you heard about crack cocaine and all
sure,
this stuff.
sure.
All the people being, the 94 crime bill, just a whole bunch of stuff. It was a black people problem until it started affecting the white community in
Hmm.
rural America, and then all of a sudden it's an epidemic.
Different strategy. Yeah.
I think that is a good parallel. I don't want to hear black people have a problem. I want to hear that it's an American problem. And I think it is literally racist to call it a black problem. And you know what? I'm not afraid to say that the biggest problem in the legacy black community in the United States of America is the anti-black blacks. And well, you know what? You chuckle, but I'm doing a whole show right now saying what's on my mind. Okay,
Hmm.
when the anti-black blacks call it a black problem, you just reinforce the be brave level thinking that it's a
And
black problem. Let me finish.
mhm.
That it's a black problem and it is up to black people to solve. I literally hear be brave kind of saying the same thing. 70% of black people, are lazy or, insane or whatever. Um, Make it an American problem, much like the epidemic, um, and things will happen. And I'm not going to change your mind. I don't seek to change your mind. I just think, we will probably never agree on this.
And that's fine. And I'm here for the conversation. Um, I think there are some areas that we do agree on, like parenting is a big part of this issue and concern. You have hundreds of kids downtown Indianapolis, downtown Chicago, downtown Detroit, DC, just doing unnecessary behaviors at times where they should be at home. It does bring up the question of where are the parents. I think we can at least agree on that. We can
Well,
say,
we do agree on that. And, that's actually kind of an insurmountable problem. I think the genie's out of the bottle.
say more about that. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the results of bad parenting from, what, 50 years ago, it's out of the bottle. And this, um, these little problems that started out in the 70s, they mushroom. Things,
Sure.
problems, these social problems expand
Yes.
exponentially. So, the problem is how do we contain it? How do we, we can't put the genie back in the bottle. The problem we have, I think, is, no one really can agree. No one can really, figure out who's responsible. You know, what I'm trying to say is that this is something that cannot just be contained by the universal Joneses. Okay. And dude, I know how hard you work. I know how much you care. That is never a doubt. Now I like beating up John Galt,
Sure.
but I don't like beating up you because you care in a very responsible way, in a way that I admire. You know your shit. Now I
Sure.
don't always agree with you, but
Sure.
like I told you on your show, I respect you. Now I
Yeah.
will roast you,
Yeah.
but you know what? I roast my sister too. I
Sure.
roast the people it's a weird quirk. I tease the people that I think can take it, push back, and
Sure.
you know what? Anyway,
And
so
and I'll share more about
I
why.
just don't agree with the gross generalizations. I would be
Understood.
much more comfortable with saying there is a problem with Black urban culture.
Yeah.
There is. We'll never, disagree that there is a problem. I will push back that, there is a pocket of Black culture that is toxic and it's mushrooming and it has actually gotten to a point to where everybody wants to mimic this toxic behavior and I
Yes.
don't have the answers. However, you know what, um I still don't think it's a black problem. I think it is a black low culture it's to me, it's very isolated. It's just that the behavior is being mimicked. I mean, it is easy to, crip walk back to your McMansion. You know, you can you can crip walk all you want, but once you close that door behind you, all of a sudden, you're eating mom's home cooking. We need to figure out how to not make it cool.
And I
And I
think
don't have
that's
those
part of the
answers.
problem. That's part of the problem. Let me address why I care, because I think that's important to my kind of approach to this, and then I want to come back
Please do.
and I want to address the mushrooming piece, because I think we may be closer on that concept of what's the part, that slice of the problem, than you may think. But let me come back to that. So the reason why I care, Stanley, and I do this even on, every few months or so, I just say, why do I care? I just take one step away, is because I was a few decisions away from being one of these statistics, honestly. The way that I grew up, the environment I came in, could have easily been one of these, individuals who fall into these victimized statistics. Several baby moms, in and out of jail, things of that nature. Now I know that's not every black person. And that's why I care, because I know that those types of behaviors in the community absolutely impact the kids who do have an opportunity to move beyond it. And they have to go to school, they have to navigate their community. Sometimes they have to even navigate their own homes and family members around that nonsense. But they have so much potential. They have so much ability to grow and to live a life where they don't have to deal with none of that nonsense. And I try to reach those young people as best as I can and be a support and say, hey, you don't have to fall victim to this. You don't have to have survivor's remorse. You don't have to deal with, you can just be yourself. Yeah, you're going to be a black person, but you can just be a person. And I feel like a lot of folks who may have found themselves in a similar position as me don't carry that same message, because they force a lot of these young people to have this alliance back to the community, where
Right.
there's a level of guilt that they're
Mhm.
not doing enough to help. And I think that that is wrong. You can do what you need to do, but you also have to know when to disengage, because you can't help
Right.
anybody who does
Right.
not want to help themselves. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way, Stanley, like literally.
Good for you.
But I learned it, but it took a long time of acceptance for it,
Mhm.
because I learned that I'm burning bridges, I'm destroying networks, I'm working harder than the people I'm trying to help to better their
Right.
lives instead of doing it myself. So I care because I've been in that position, and I think that we can help some people move forward. So that's why I do this. Now I know I'm called a coon and stuff, because I
Oh,
like to.
fuck all that. I didn't call you a coon. Look,
No, not
the
not
bottom
you.
line
I'm just
is
saying in
you
general.
made your look. I'm not even interrupting it. You care. That is palpable.
Yeah,
It's important. We need more universals. But in me, dilettante that I am, I didn't grow up around it. Literally, I would just be more hindrance than help.
sure.
However, um, you know, I we need people like you. However, and again, I know I piss people off when I'm in the chat and I start splitting hairs, but it's the way I'm trained.
Sure.
You cannot say this is a black problem. It's just too broad, and it just gives people like, and you know what? Be Brave is a motherfucking racist. Okay, of the most virulent sort. He is funny. He is engaging, and to be honest, and I make this comment. I've made this comment about CT's show. I have made it about Bob's new show. The problem isn't Bob or CT or even Be Brave. It's the panels. It's the people who buy into that carnival barker bullshit,
Sure.
because they are obviously, they look to these people as authorities of one way or another, or one sort or another, and they're just not.
Hmm. And Stanley, in a lot of these panels, I think they're more generalized than even myself would be. With their with their talking points, and I think a lot of times too, they're clouded by their own hurt or trauma. We can say, I don't really like throwing that around as much, but they're kind of clouded by like you mentioned earlier, these narratives of who white people are, who black people are, without really thinking about like the actual application of some of the things that they're saying. And that's where I try to come in and say, okay, let's look at this. Like there's an issue when you see, I mean, earlier in my stream, I looked at just the last few days, and I picked the Twin Cities because I'm local, but I picked Chicago because it's close. But I could have picked Indiana, Indianapolis, Philadelphia, New Orleans. Like it's the same thing over and over and over again. You at some point you have to say, okay, what is going on? We have these urban blacks, no matter where you place them in the United States, with similar issues, especially when it comes to the gun violence. That's where I want to have the dialogue to say, what is the issue here? We can say, yeah, white people put the guns in the community. We can say that, but drives you to um what drives you to utilizing the guns upon yourself? Why are those your methods of
Okay, well, let
engagement?
me let me tell you. And I'm not much of a Thomas Sowell fan, but there's a grain of truth in that silliness about, black rednecks
Yeah.
and white liberals. America is a gun culture. Okay, you can tune in to the Western Channel or the Cowboy Channel. I used to call it the Cowboy Channel. You can tune in anytime. You can see plenty of gunplay. There's a whole, get out of Dodge, Dodge City. When America has a cold, black people catch the flu. Okay, this gun culture in the hood did not spring up, as a new species of gun violence. America is a gun culture, and black people, inner city. I was listening to something. Have you read E. Franklin Frazier, Black
Yeah,
Bourgeoisie? Right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And
well, I think
Black
I
people,
think
yeah.
you know I have some huge problems with the book. However, the bare bones, because part of it is he was talking about 19 what it was published in 57 or something.
I think he was focused on the 30s.
No, it's published later than that. It was
No,
either
no, I'm
40.
saying what his
Oh yeah, yeah,
ideology.
yeah. He was
Yeah,
talking about. Look, um, whether we like it or not, black culture is an imitation of white culture.
I agree 100%.
Okay, that can't be escaped. I'm gonna cling to the notion that, you remember the Who song, and I'm gonna sound like a motherfucking geek. It's an eminence fund. Okay, it is literally, um it's a consumer culture. Okay, we
Yes.
want the latest sneakers, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not just the inner city, black culture. It is everybody in America. We literally don't make anything; we buy stuff.
Yes,
So,
Stanley.
and I don't want to get too deep because this might be a whole series of conversations.
We might have to have a series of conversations.
Right, but what I really, all bullshit aside, and I like to roast people. There's nothing wrong with black people. There are problems in specific pockets of the larger black culture. I'm never going to deny that. I just take umbrage to, not all black people live in the hood. Not all black people have hood culture. And there are too many people like a John Galt. or a Be Brave or an Oc Nation or ACT who just don't know shit. They literally have not done the work. They just fucking, tune into, um, they don't read motherfucking books. Okay. They don't do the hard work to actually understand the gray areas and grapple with the gray areas. John Galt doesn't motherfucking grapple with the gray areas. Be Brave doesn't grapple with the gray areas, and it shows. And then they get pissed when I tell them, y'all don't know shit. They don't.
Mm.
And I am not afraid to tell them. And yeah, Mela, I see you. But I want to hold on 1 sec, Mela.
Yeah,
Look,
propaganda.
look, Universal, you have my un, uh, unadulterated respect.
Sure.
I will roast you. I will
No,
make jokes.
I know
But
you have.
you have to know how much I do respect you.
Yeah, I understood. I do
And
want to
I
comment.
I don't care. I've never grown up there. I don't feel the the need to give back to a place I didn't grow up in.
Sure. And I honestly don't think that there's anything wrong with that, Stanley. I think that that is okay. You're not required to feel
Now, that
obligated.
doesn't mean I won't help. If I can help, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna help.
But the best
However,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I mean, I'm not um I don't mean to be dismissive, but shit, you know what? I had a buddy of mine who's from the hood in Richmond, Virginia.
Mhm.
And you know what he told me? He's like, Stanley, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Don't go to the hood.
And he may be right as far as like
Oh no, he's
survival and
absolutely right.
navigating.
He's a friend of mine. I mean, he knows me as well as anyone.
And let me there's 2 points that I want to definitely address that you said, the consumer culture piece and then the mushrooming thing I want to come back to. Um and but I want to well let me go to the mushrooming because that's a bigger conversation.
Okay.
So you stating that you never grew up in a community and that's not, that should be your motivation. I agree with that. I don't think you would have
Well,
to.
hold
You
on.
should.
I didn't grow up in the hood. I
Yeah, the hood.
I
That's what I meant.
grew up I grew up in a black
Black community. Yes.
middle class, Cloverdale in Savannah, Georgia.
Yes.
I could, who was it that said, maybe it was John Galt, I could literally, the only time I saw black or white people was, like I mowed lawns when I was like 12, 13, 14. I could literally go a whole summer and not see
Yeah.
white people unless we went to the mall or something.
Yes.
So
And
I know black excellence. I know
yes.
the inner city, and literally you could go riding your bike. Now we had a curfew, of course, but
Sure.
once it was dark, like 9 o'clock, my father and my sister and I, we would go riding bikes because he was a cop and he had to stay fit and all that stuff. But you know the occasional dog chasing us, up the street. That was the danger. Now
And
we're talking 70s.
yeah, there we go. And I would say since the 70s, Stanley, there's been a gradual shift in how both middle class blacks and urban blacks have changed their disposition or sorry, middle class blacks and rural blacks have changed their disposition on urban black America. And I think that there's a level of acceptance to some of the nonsense that takes place in urban
I
communities.
think you're right.
And I think that that's a huge part of the problem is the folks who are supposed to uplift and push towards quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
excellence as you use support the nonsense, and it allows, and I think that there's a allowance of it to just fester and go on. And with, so because earlier you talked about there's a mushrooming that happens, and
Right.
that mushrooming, it takes, and I see it every day because I'm fortunate enough to reach a upper middle class level myself, and I'm in these spaces where I've been the only black person for a lot of things. And when I am around other middle class Black people, they just they enable a lot of the nonsense. And I'm like, man, we have an opportunity to really shift from a policy in or even a structural in stuff, but we don't do it because that a lot of Black
Hold on, Mella.
a
Let,
lot of Black
let
people
me
on that level, they tend to, and this is just my theory. I don't have a lot of
no.
research on
You're
this.
cooking, but I do have a pushback.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I'm looking forward to both you and Mella's position on this because
Mella will wait.
I want to really think this thing out
Thank
too.
you very much.
Because I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% so that I've figured it all out, but I think I'm onto something where I believe that a lot of these Black folks who don't come, or not, I shouldn't say come from, they're not participating in the urban Black dynamic, we'll say. They still find their connection back to Black by
Yeah, well,
supporting the nonsense.
you are literally talking about E. Franklin Frazier.
I know. Yeah. I mean, he's one of the people who helped me get, and this is why I know it's an issue because he was writing about a
See,
time period that was almost 100 years ago.
Well, I
And
want
this
you to
shit still
finish
happens
this
today.
point. I think he has a point, but finish your point. But I'm going to tell you right now, Black culture, as even look, E. Franklin Frazier literally is saying at a meta point that Black culture is a reflection of white culture. You
Yeah.
got the masses, you got the burgeoning middle class, and you got that little, little, little
Turn
Tandy
your
Newton,
microphones up.
Tandy
Are we
Newton,
low?
Yes.
Tandy Newton level. We want to cling to upper class white culture, and Du Bois was horrible for that.
Sure.
He had some problems, but that's kind of an aside.
Mella, is this
The problem, and I'm just
You
gonna have to
sound
go.
better.
Okay, Mella, please
Sorry.
don't be 12th man.
That's my fault.
I was just mentioning that your microphone is low.
Like I said, I think we do a bad job of just saying it's a Black problem without realizing that Blacks are just imitating parts of white culture. That's why I think it's an American problem. We didn't get the urban lifestyle from Africa. Where did we get it from?
We didn't even get it from here. I mean, we
I think
assimilated into it. We assimilated into it here.
Well, I think some of it's invented.
No, absolutely. And even though this may be a replication of urban white culture, we have adapted something that is more toxic with it. Ava asked a question in the chat. What is urban?
I'm sorry. Well, if Ava's here, it'll be all right.
No, she just asked a question I think is important, just for clarity, because I use that terminology.
She lives in Seattle. She may not, be that.
But even still, there's a Black community in Seattle that also are impacted by the same dynamics. When I say an urban Black dynamic, I'm talking about inner city Black people who are impoverished for the most part. They're usually dependent on government assistance and nonprofit organizations. And their family dynamics are fragile.
You might want to look at those numbers too.
I have.
They as a group, you need to parse those numbers. Don't make the generalizations, which is why we're having the show. It is so annoying to hear a Black professional such as yourself make these huge leaps of logic. Do most people in what we would call an urban environment depend on welfare?
Anecdotal experience matters.
Hold on, Mella. Do you know the numbers of Universal?
The numbers, I mean, if you want the overall
American seriously, numbers, do you know the numbers? Stop making the generalizations.
I know some of the numbers if I break them down by city or state, yes. The total.
Okay, we will have to do, a roaming or roving series, because look, if I'm wrong, dude, I will just eat crow. But I find it concerning when we just want to say black people are this or black people are that. It's a huge, and call me a science major. You just can't make those broad generalizations.
But we're talking specifically about urban blacks, though, right?
Okay, and even if you want to isolate into that demographic, do you know the numbers? What are the percentages of the urban black
He already answered that question.
that take government assistance? That we need to know those numbers. It's called drilling down. Do you have those numbers?
For the entire United States, no, but
no, I don't care. Just pick a community. You talked about
Twin
Minneapolis.
Cities. Yeah, Twin Cities. In the state of Minnesota, black people are a little over 6% of the entire population. And of that 6%, I believe 93% of those folks live in the actual urban population of the Twin Cities. Over 65% of those people are ungovernment assistance, Stanley. That's over half. So I think we can generalize and say that's the majority.
Okay, and then the other half are not.
Now that's a good man right there.
Okay, what I need you to do, Mela, is I will bring you up in just a second. But 50% aren't. Are you gonna dwell on the 50% are or the 50% that are not?
Well, I'm dwelling on the majority, because that majority is still connected to those folks who are not, Stanley. And those folks who are not still have ties back to that.
I'm not quite done. Minneapolis is not.
So now Minneapolis doesn't count.
Okay, Minneapolis is not. Is Minnesota an accurate reflection of the legacy?
He's being brutish with you,
dude. This is fucking bullshit. I don't think you quoting numbers from Minnesota are much of an indicator of the larger black community. Like you said, you are literally quoting California numbers.
Sure.
5-6%. That is not a snapshot of the larger community.
What I'll do for our part 2 conversation, Stanley, is I will pick a urban city that has over 13%.
Why not just look? Why an urban city?
Because we're talking about urban blacks, Stanley. You're moving the goalpost now.
No, we are not talking about it.
Yes, we are. Stanley, you asked the question.
No, we are not. You are. Okay, Universal.
Yes, because those are. Yes, you're right.
Have you not heard me? It's my fault because I haven't been clear. I think that the urban black community is not a reflection of the larger black community.
And that's fine.
I think. Well, no. It is more than fine. It is literally not my point. I don't give a fuck about what goes on in the city. I am saying the city is not a reflection of the larger black community. Not all black people, not even the majority of black people live in urban areas.
Stanley.
Well, hold on. What is it? Blackdemographics.com.
Mm-hmm.
I look at this sort of stuff. Now, it is a very slim majority, but even if you want to go and look at the urban population, inner city versus living in I haven't been able to parse the hood from living in an urban area. Haven't been able to find one that kind of gives me those numbers. I'm not ready to go that, hey, what happens in the hood it reflects on the larger black community. What I get, and I'm going to keep going, what I get from the anti-black blacks is all black people are our brother's keeper. It is a very Booker T. Washington, 1898 Atlanta exposition. Not every bad deed that a black person does is not a reflection. be a credit to your race. And I used to hear this back in the 70s. No, those days are over. And if we keep going in that direction, that's part of our toxicity too.
So, Stanley, from your perspective, what's the difference between non-urban blacks and urban blacks?
One, city mice versus country mice. Most by John, I see John's here. He needs to sit in the back with Mel, because you know what? If you really want to set me off, the difference is two different cultures. Dude, I
Can you
live. Well, hold on.
drill down on those? I would love to know the difference.
Let me finish
Sure.
where I'm going. I lived in Savannah, Georgia, grew up, all that stuff. Mother from there, but my father was from South Georgia, small town, South Georgia, rural. So you know what? I've been, to libraries where I check out 10 books. I've also picked peas and watermelons. So I know the difference between the cultures. So there's a huge difference between urban culture. And again, this is quite some time ago, decades ago, but I know what living in the city tends to be different than living out where you pick watermelons.
Like, could you give me if we could compare the average urban 16-year-old
I
black
don't
man
care about the averages. I'm just giving you a big picture.
But even with your big picture, you didn't really drill down and give any differences, Stanley.
There is a different. Well, wait, hold it. You don't see differences?
No, I want you to.
Okay, well then I do. I've lived.
What are they?
Lived in a city. Well, one is more concerned. Look, if you live out in the country, your neighbor might be a mile away. It's a different lifestyle. One's more relaxed. Um, you know, you're gonna have to guide me on this because I don't understand why you don't see the difference.
Do you think that let's say a rural black 16-year-old is less aggressive than an urban black 16-year-old?
If he's not listening to rap music or the culture. Now, see, this is where the internet has kind of made culture more accessible. Now, when I grew up, there was no internet. I mean, you could go a whole summer. The only TV I might see would be like, what my grandparents were watching. So
Sure.
Things have changed. I mean, things are much more accessible. So I don't deny that. Urban culture is much more accessible out in the hinterland. So are you telling me that, and I think I would agree, the toxicity from the inner city, I agree with that. It's literally, becoming more accessible.
Yeah, I think that I think that we have enough data to say that there's something
I don't
going
care
on.
about the data so much because
But you asked me for data, now you don't care about the data, Stanley. How do you want it, Stanley?
Hold on. Well, it's not that I don't care. I need you to put a caveat on it. Data doesn't tell you anything. It's the narrative ascribed to the data. You need to understand the trend.
I understand that point.
Okay, just because a murder rate is so high in the
summertime, city, right? It doesn't mean that it's
the
degrees that increase the measure. I understand that.
That's not. I'm not denying it, but why is it higher? How do we solve it? How do we deal with the obvious problem that the trends are showing? Okay, telling me that
you have to generalize, Stanley, to do that.
Okay, no, actually, I'm saying the opposite. Taking the generalized data and understanding the trends and what the data might mean, is how you don't generalize.
But Stanley, at some point, you look at your data points and you say, okay, we're noticing this specific group is behaving this specific way,
Right.
and you ask yourself why. And
Okay,
then
and
that
that's my point.
when
No
the,
one is
the answer, hold on one second, let
asking
me finish. Let me finish. The answers to that question to you, Stanley, sound racist.
right, because no one is. See, okay, you want to chuckle, but what I'm hearing is people aren't asking why. They're just going, these goddamn numbers are so high and they're animals. I fucking
No,
hear it.
I actually think
No,
that
no,
they're
no,
not
no.
doing that.
I'm not talking about you specifically, but you see a spike in numbers or some trend, and you don't actually ask yourself, why is this happening? That is why I think too many people, and I'm going to pick on Be Brave, he's going to go, well, those blacks, they've always been toxic. He doesn't ask why. He picks the lowest hanging racist fruit. They're black. They've always been that way. That is my goddamn problem. Okay, no one is actually asking why. You are just saying it's black people and they need to figure out how to fix the problem.
May I speak?
You hold on one sec.
Sure.
Let
I
you
can
know,
concede to Melo. Go ahead.
do you understand my point now? Okay,
I do, but I don't.
you think people are asking why? I'm saying they're not. They're just saying of the blacks.
Yeah. So we agree, but not on the same what the reason. I don't think people are asking why, because if you ask why, it's gonna lead back to black people's bad behavior, and that means that you're
Okay,
racist.
and then I think you are a numbskull.
Yeah, I understand. Mela, you can hop in if you like.
Only with Stanley's permission, of course. May I
I'll
speak,
be right
Stanley?
back. I'll be right back. By the way, Universal's a host on this. He has as much power as I do.
Okay. I would also like the link to his channel so that I could subscribe. In the
Yeah.
meantime, thank you in advance for allowing me to say what I'm going to say at this moment. The problem with the Black community is its hypersexuality. Allow me to explain. The hypersexuality stems from, there's this book called, of course, people who are familiar with it know, post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? And it's a very, as a matter of fact, it's been revised recently, and it includes details that would construct attitudes, acceptance of deplorable behaviors throughout generations, including hypersexuality. And due to hypersexuality, a man is not going to.
Okay, let me see if I
Yes,
can understand this point. Is it hypersexuality that's doing drive-bys and violent crime?
that's akin to impulsive behavior. Yes,
I need you to connect those dots.
that's akin to
Well, I don't care about a kin. I need you to connect those dots.
the connection is impulsivity, survival. When people are in survival mode, they are prone to conduct impulsivity.
Do you really think you have a good argument?
No, I don't.
Okay, so
That's why I'm asking you,
you're
what
just
do you
here
think?
so we can hear your pretty voice.
My voice is not always pretty, but
Well,
thank you.
your point is always interesting.
Well, let's be a further.
Farther.
I'm sorry. Let's explore this further.
Let's
Um,
not.
You don't want to hear about how black
Okay, I am
people
Mela. We are
are
not gonna.
impulsive, and that's
Well,
their problem.
okay,
You don't want to hear about.
okay, Mela. You need to trim your point down to a point. Okay, rambling on and sounding interesting is not doing it for me. So let me bring you back up. Connect the dots is my request. You talked about impulsivity. That seems a way to go, but go there.
Impulsivity is an umbrella that has many prongs, and that can include um, violence, that can include abandonment of responsibility, that can include
Well,
disregard for legal consequences.
okay, well, honestly, a dictionary has a lot of words.
Are you being a contrarian? Is that what you're doing to me?
No, that contrarian is in the dictionary too. What I'm asking you to do, you talked about
I did
impulsivity.
what you asked me
I
to do.
need you to connect the dots in a very conclusive way.
I
I
made
love
it
the
as concise
soliloquy.
as I
I
possibly
love the
could.
soliloquy, but can you get
I
to the
made it as concise as I was able to.
okay? Well,
I think the point hit
I,
hard for people who are listening. For those who are not listening, or rather refuse to understand, it leads to other questions. When the question was answered, it is impulsivity that has destroyed the Black community.
and I'm gonna take you back to the fussing at
No, you're
no.
not.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna let me critique your very uh, marshmallowy argument. You're not advancing the point. Um, you make broad generalities just like I fussed at Universal for doing, except you're not as good at refining your argument. Don't care about impulsivity. I think we kind of passed that a while ago. Not every the you cannot call the whole legacy Black community impulsive.
I would
Marsh,
like to
marshmallowy.
Stanley, when you're
Shout out
done,
to marshmallowy.
I would like to
Okay,
actually build on
when
Mela's
you
point.
start telling me that 50% of the legacy Black community in the United States or 51% commit violent crime, then I'll start believing the argument that there is a cultural problem. Okay, you need the numbers actually mean something in high numbers. Yeah, high for what? High relative to what? Most of the statistics you want to talk about are high relative to other demographics. Okay, again, you can take numbers and you can do all kinds of things with them. I just think numbers don't mean anything until you give them a narrative. We have given them a race narrative, a racism narrative, and America has just said, hey, in the inner city, it is a Black problem. And then people like, the very racist Be
Mhm.
Brave and the motherfucker don't. The very racist Be Brave and the John Galts and the Ock Nations who motherfucker, y'all will look at crime videos all day, every day, and never look at all the stuff that's positive. Most Black people don't commit murders. Most Black people don't commit violent crime. A very small percentage of the total Black community, and I'm going to specify legacy Black community in America, commit violent crime, where pussies and idiots like Be Brave and John Galt and all these idiot motherfuckers, they like to compare themselves to the Asian community, the white community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't need confirmation, Mella.
Mm-hmm.
It is a relative problem. Okay. High numbers, high per capita in the Black community compared to other communities. And I'm not saying that comparison is bad. I'm just saying there's a narrative.
There is a narrative.
We need not get wrapped around the axle, because I think we can explain why the per capita number is high in the Black community. And it's not most Black people. It is very localized geographically. And the anti-black blacks who want to be performative. Ooh, the white people think we have a problem. I'm gonna say we have a problem too. It doesn't work for me.
If all white people left, Black people still have the same
I don't
problem.
give a motherfuck what the white people do.
And
stop
I don't either.
Okay, dude, stop worrying about them. If it is a Black, see, and this is where the inconsistency comes in. If it's a Black problem, why are we worried about what the white people think? You're Black.
Well, you brought it up,
okay,
Stanley.
dude. I will not be interrupted. If it is a Black problem, and you as a Black professional know it's a problem, why do you care what the white people think?
I don't. That's why I approach the work the way that I do. Now, Stanley,
okay, I'm not
brought up
talking
research.
about your work. I'm talking about your narrative. And
my
John
narrative
Galt
and the work are one and the same.
I might be beating up on the John Galts and the Act Nations more than you, but again, if it's a Black problem, and it's not, who cares? Okay, dude, I have already counseled you on your very bad narrative. What happens in the inner city in big cities is not a reflection on the broader legacy Black community. Do you think what happened in Chicago, was it last weekend or a few days ago, is a motherfucker, do not interrupt, because now I'm getting annoyed. What happened in Chicago, how does that reflect on the Black community in America? Does it?
Is that a question?
It is. You didn't hear the upsweep at the end of my
sentence? You asked the question, I answered it. You said don't interrupt.
No. I need you to tell me how violence in the inner city reflects on the larger Black community.
It reflects on the larger Black community because it happens in every major city where Black people are more than
and then your idiot ass can't figure out.
I'll be an idiot.
Most Black people don't live in those communities, do they?
But they do. Well, if they don't live in the communities, they are finding a way to travel there and cause disruption.
The legacy Black community in the majority do not live in the areas you're worried about.
All right. Well, they're smart because they've figured out a way to get away from the Negro
nonsense. Away from my question.
I'm not wandering. Let me finish. You're cutting me off. You won't let me finish?
See, this is why I get so annoyed. Do most Black people live in the hood?
Again, you keep.
No. I need you to answer.
I'm going to answer the point. Let me answer. I will.
Again, me.
I will.
Do most Black Americans?
I will. I will answer directly, and let me answer.
Yes or no is the answer.
There's a short answer and there's context. I would like to provide both.
I don't care. We can get to the context once.
We can't because you won't let me finish a thought.
I don't care if you finish. I just need a yes or no. How long does it take you to say yes or no?
I believe I demonstrated that it doesn't take me long.
I don't care what you demonstrated.
But yet again,
for you to reiterate Do most legacy Black
No,
Americans in the United States of America live in the hood?
no.
Okay, well, Hope, put a pin in that,
But
because my follow-on question is, if most people don't, how can what goes on there be a reflection on the larger Black community who
here's
don't
how.
live there?
Here's how. In research, Stanley, there's something
I
called a
don't give a fuck
p-value.
about the
Well, let me
research.
answer
Let's
the
do it
question.
a priori.
Let me answer the question.
No, it will be dude, okay, Universal, you're not as bright as I thought you were then. Okay, don't tell me about the research. Okay,
I'm not
if most this is not a data problem. This is more a context, maybe. If the majority of Black people don't live in these high crime areas, how is what goes on there a reflection on the
yeah.
larger Black community?
Please allow me to answer the question.
Dude,
You're using
if you
when you
want
use
to,
the term when you use the
okay,
term
what you're gonna
majority, you're
do
splitting
is
it. So let
hear
me.
my response.
I
Dude, don't be dumb because I'm gonna shit on you. Laugh, chuckle as much as you want, but you know what's gonna happen. You know numbers aren't gonna help you here.
I'm not using numbers, and you don't even know what I'm
You
doing.
said the
Well, let me
research,
finish.
bitch.
You're the only one using numbers. You keep saying majority. So
Okay,
I'm following
listen,
your line of questioning to answer your question. Let me answer.
we
Oh,
agree that most Black people don't live in the hood, correct?
correct. And then
Okay.
your follow-up
And
question was, well, then why does it matter? And
you
I'm
go
trying to
and
answer that.
tell me, if most Black people don't live in these high crime areas,
Why does it matter?
how will we be blamed for the crime that goes on there? Tell me
Because
about this research.
because when in research
Because
in general,
white
there's something
people think
called.
all Black people live in the hood, for starters.
Okay, I'm not going to use what you call a be brave narrative. Let me explain. In research, which you brought up today, there's something called a statistic significance, which is also a p-value. You don't have to have 50% for it to be significant. The statistical significance of Black urban youth, mainly, who are causing disruption and problems,
Okay,
is a reflection
you've already
on
lost me.
majority.
We have already agreed that Black urban youth don't represent all Black youth.
But it represents
You
a
are
fragmentation amongst
literally
our
going
community.
down the white way.
And that's fine. You can call it what you want.
Oh, motherfucker,
It's
I
the
know
truth.
it's
It can
fine.
be white.
Because,
It can be
dude,
the Indian
if
way.
most
It
Black
can be
people,
whatever.
if the majority of Black Americans,
Thank you, Herman.
Black Americans do not live in these high crime areas, it is not.
I don't know why that matters, Stanley. If it doesn't
Okay,
matter if
dude,
they're
then
5%
you are dim.
or
Then you are literally
75%, they are
dim.
literally.
You are literally stupid.
Well, let me make my stupid
Dude,
point.
no. What I'm gonna do is tell you that your reasoning for why these numbers matter, you need to step back and actually clear your head of whatever white cotton these white people stuff between your ears and actually think. If
Stanley.
most Black people don't live in these high crime areas, then it's not a reflection on the larger Black community. And I keep telling you, it's not a Black problem. Racializing what is happening in the inner city is literally be brave level dumb.
How is it not a Black problem when
It is not
a
a Black
significant
problem.
majority
If
of the
most
folks
Black
doing the
people,
issues are
if
Black?
most Black
Stanley,
people,
you wanted to talk about
keep
Baltimore, Stanley. Let's
goddamn
talk about it.
telling you, stop using Black and make it American. We talked about this.
Here,
Stop using Black, you fucking racist.
All right. Let's. You want to talk about Baltimore? Let's talk about
We're
Baltimore.
not going to
Stanley.
look at it.
Pull
What
up the
you
clip.
need, no,
Pull the clip up.
we're not going to do
Why
it.
are you
I
don't give a
entertaining
fuck.
this old
Dude,
man?
This is
I got clips for you.
literally
I brought the
why I
research,
have,
Stanley.
this is
Come on.
literally why I have problems with you don't understand numbers. You don't understand how to give them context. And when you do deign to give them context, you just basically want to use the term black. You literally are. Well, you told me earlier, on your earlier show that
Mhm.
Be Brave has a point. You and I totally disagree. Be Brave is a moron. He has no clue how to use numbers. And I'm starting to think you don't either. Okay, just because there are high crime rates in narrow geographical areas, it does not implicate all Black people in America.
And yet again, I'm not implicating all Black people.
Yes, you are. When you
I am
say
saying
Black without
within
context,
urban Black
okay,
dynamics,
I
there's a
will,
problem.
dude, when you say Black people have a problem,
We do.
it's so general, you're implicating. And
We do.
maybe your command of English isn't that good.
It's not. I'm Black.
Dude, well, you know what? Then you need to go back to grade school. Mrs. Hefner or whoever the fuck she was,
Miss Anderson.
she probably thought you couldn't learn English, so she did the best she could.
Yeah,
And
well,
you are
most
suffering
likely.
for it.
Well, I did have a public education. Unfortunately, my parents couldn't afford anything.
You can't fight back because Miss Hefner cowed your dumb ass and told you you were Black and can't learn English.
Yeah, she also patted me on the head and said it's going to be okay.
You know what? She rubbed your head. She didn't have it. She went, what an interesting texture.
Oh man.
Show your article, but not all Black people live in the hood. That's pretty much the common sense point.
And again, I will give you that point and still make my point that this is an issue. You're more concerned with the majority living in.
I'm saying, wait, Universal.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying it's not an issue. I'm saying it is not a Black issue.
Well, it is a American problem that involves Black people. How about that?
Well, you know what? I couldn't agree more.
And I think America needs to take strong direction in dealing with this problem. No holds barred.
Using your words now. See how you're using your words to make a cogent point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that America has to be honest with the subculture of Black Americans who are causing these issues. They need to look at it from the parenting aspect, the waste of dollars from the nonprofits to the education. And we need to have an honest review on why aren't these Blacks able to make it.
Now, let me ask you a question. Before you get back on your anti-Black tricycle,
it's not a tricycle. I have training wheels. I'm present above the tricycle.
Do white people have the same problem?
No.
Bullshit.
No, they don't.
Bullshit.
See, provide your evidence. Provide your evidence. Provide your evidence.
Everything is hunky dory in white land.
No one said that. Now you're generalizing my statement. Now you're generalizing my statement. Now you're generalizing my statement. No, their parenting's different. And when white parents fell, no. Let me respond. When white parents fell, their children do not murder each other. When white parents fell, their children do not murder each other or destruct their community. When white parents fell, their children do not disrupt their community and murder each other.
Dude, then you don't read the news, do you?
I honestly, I probably read the news more than you do, sir.
You stay up there worrying. You put your nose.
So I don't read the news, but then when I do, I'm worrying about it.
The news. You literally don't. You know what's going on in Minnesota,
No,
but
sir.
you
I pay
don't know
attention
what's
to
going on
national.
outside of
Oh,
your state.
I honestly,
And I'm not even making a joke here. Universal, you don't know what's going on.
Stanley, I probably know more what's going on in these
Motherfucker,
urban
you don't.
dynamics than you,
Hey,
sir.
when you tell me white people don't have the same problems,
They don't.
now not to the same extent, but if you're telling me that bad parenting, is uniquely black,
I didn't. I never said that.
a motherfucker. That's what you implicated.
No, I would tell you that directly what I said. When white parents fail, their children's results are very different than black parents. Black children who are not doing well end up murdering one another and causing disruption in their community. You do not have the
Come on,
same problem.
man. Stop.
You do not have the same problem
Okay,
in white community.
Universal, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Prove it.
Of course, well, I don't have to. We know what the statistics are. I literally keep making the analogy when
White
America
kids
catch,
will
motherfucker, don't interrupt.
self-destruct.
Do not interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
When white America catches a cold, black people catch the flu. Of course, the statistics aren't going to be as dire, but you telling me white people don't have the same bad parenting issues?
That's not what I
Dude,
said.
you no, it's exactly what you said.
No,
Not in those words.
that's not what I said.
I'm
I
taking the
spoke very
implication.
directly.
When I say, do white people have the same problems?
And I said, no,
You
they
said
don't.
no.
The results aren't the same.
Okay, of course they're not the same. God damn it, that's obvious.
So then they don't have the same problem.
I literally
Stanley.
said
If your car breaks
they're
down and
not
my
as
car breaks
bad.
down and I
They're
have a
not
flat
as
tire, you have an
bad.
engine
I
issue,
said
it's not
that.
the same problem. It's not.
They're exactly the same problems, Universal. And I'm surprised at the lack of depth in your knowledge. Bad parenting is an American problem.
I agree with that. We're behind.
Okay, then
We're
we
behind
have
a
the
lot of
same
issues.
problem, just not to the same extent.
Bro genius. When it comes
I
to
don't give a
school
fuck what Bro Genius has to say. What you need to do is concentrate on your lack of thinking. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're chuckling, but bad parenting is literally an American problem.
I agree,
It
but the
hurts
results
the black
are
community
different.
worse.
Yes, we agree there.
But white people are fucking up the country. They have the power over it.
Due to their bad parenting?
Yes,
Say more.
absolutely. Dude, bad parenting is like, dude, you think Trump had good parents?
I don't want to
And
talk about
I don't mean to go all political.
like I'm
Universal,
talking about your regular, everyday person.
your ass is so into what's going on in the hood that you're not paying. No, I know you think it's funny, but I'm dead serious. Dude, you have no clue what's going on. Seriously, I'm actually shocked. Motherfucker, you talk to Imperius regularly on your panels. You don't think that's bad parenting?
I think he's a sociopath.
Okay, you don't think that's well, I mean, if you're gonna go sociopath, the parents might not have that much control.
I think he's got.
However, I'm still gonna say I think the dude has bad parenting. And I like Imperius.
Sure. I mean, he's almost 40 years old. His parents, I mean, the
Well, I
job
don't
that
want to
they've
get
done is
too
done.
deep in that.
So
I just want to say that bad parenting is an American problem. And if you want to just say the only bad parents in America are black people, then you are an anti-black black.
yeah, and that's not what I said. So, but that's fine. I'll still
You
be
know
an
what?
anti-black black.
No. I'm paraphrasing. I'm reading between the lines. I admit that.
Bad parenting is one of the biggest issues we have in the United States, period. We can do a lot better by our children overall. and we should do a lot better. And I don't think that we have a collective focus
Right.
on
And when
development of
America,
our children.
when white people, America in general, get a cold, in this case, it's bad parenting, Black people catch the flu, which is worse? There are all kinds of things. Since you love statistics so much, the reason white people, their kids can, hey, trustafarianism, the wealth in America, can kind of pad what your kids, you can afford, the Betty Ford Clinic and all that stuff. It is very obvious why bad parenting in the white community has guardrails and padding and all that. The Black community doesn't have the wealth. So, some of the bullshit you want to push, not all Black people live in the hood. What happens in the hood should stay in the hood, but racists and the anti-Black Blacks want to make it they're basically saying we are our brother's keeper. It is really a problem. The biggest problem in the Black community is crime, but I'm going to say the anti-Black Blacks are a problem too. It's almost like a self-perpetuating thing.
Do you think that the anti-Black Blacks is? Do you think that it's an equal level of a problem?
No, I think they are a time bomb. I think they're raising kids. When we talk about bad parenting, that shit leaks. That there is no way you can be anti-Black to the degree that I hear sometimes on the John Galt Urban Landlord Network. It's going to leak to your kids and they're going to be anti-Black. It is a perpetual cycle. If you live in the hood and you don't leave the hood and you want to fucking pretend that it's a good place, your kids are going to be raised in the hood. How can you fucking talk about a culture that is so toxic, but you stay there and raise your kids there? Fucking make that make sense.
I don't think that makes any sense.
Okay, well, you didn't do it, but I know
Sure
someone
didn't.
who has.
Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't want to subject my kids.
You didn't do it.
Yeah, I heard what you said.
Someone
I'm
who
just
has.
speaking towards my experience. I mean,
Okay,
whoever
dude,
you're speaking of, not
it's
here.
when I say anti-Black is perpetual, I want my kids to know I'm a hood nigga too. That shit is toxic. It is so weird that I hear people talk about how toxic Black culture is while they perpetuate it.
I mean, yeah, that's their choice. I don't know what you want me to say.
Oh, that's their choice. That's their choice. It's their choice to seem like a simpleton.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. I don't agree with it.
And you know what I want to do? I want to trash them while they do it and laugh and have a good time while I do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you enjoy that. That's what you want to do. You know?
I have a ball. And all I have to say is you're one step ahead of that, but there's bullshit you want to perpetuate about, what happens in the hood in Minneapolis being a 70% problem. You are literally taking a 70-year-old racist's point and glorifying it, and you know better.
Yeah, I never brought up 70%. I don't use
Be brave, but you perpetuate it. You literally on your show said "Be Brave" has a point. Did you?
He does have a point, but
he
that's
does not have a point. The motherfucker doesn't. You know what? If he has a point, he backed into it accidentally.
Oh hell,
That
a broken
motherfucker's
clock
great.
right twice a
That
day. It is what
motherfucker.
it is.
You know what? Here is what white supremacy got him. That motherfucker couldn't even stand up straight and walk into that outhouse. He'd he'd have to duck into something that he built for 3 weeks. But yet, all I hear, and I don't want to pick on the little leprechaun, but motherfucker, y'all, be brave is not the problem. It's the black people like you and John
Mhm.
Galt who want to
We're the
pretend
problem.
he's motherfucker. I said you.
We're robbing
You,
Lululemon. Okay.
you and John Galt are peas in a pod.
Oh man.
You wanna? I literally. Hey, John, you literally are talking about beef. Well, Stanley,
You brought me. I never brought me very up. You
Okay,
brought him up.
I'm talking to John Galt, motherfucker.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me shut up then.
Keep up, young man. You know what? I love it when John Galt says that. You know what, Stanley, you did more than what Be Brave did. I chuckle when you say that shit, John. You're still there, John.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you guys.
Oh, goody. You love you some Be Brave, don't you? You're his holy man, aren't you? Hey, you got your soundboard? Can you play that little clip where he says you're his holy man? I always get a thrill when you do that.
Like that.
I love it. And look, Lindy Lou is here for you. Ask Lindy Lou to come up. Yeah, motherfucker. Lindy Lou, I'm obsessed with Be Brave because how can someone be so horrible? And you bringing up Be Brave, how can you be so horrible?
I'm gone.
You are literally Lindy Lou. Lindy Lou.
John just saved my life because I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, Lindy Lou, you are literally devolving.
That's gonna be my
and look it up. You'll figure out what the word means.
It'll be my
man. I'm gone. John just listen. Let's be honest, y'all. John just saved my life because I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Well, motherfucker, we're gonna hear everything on that soundboard, right?
I like it. Might be the new one. Anyway, carry on, guys. I was just joking.
Well, no, you got anything to add?
No, I was just listening to you guys.
Well, I mean, do you believe these numbers? Look at the screen. Apparently, Brandon Scott's got crime down in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Well, no, I mean, you know more about Baltimore than I do.
No,
and honestly, I'm not even, messing with you. What are your thoughts?
I think, Baltimore has a lot of problems, man. They, shit, crime down one day, up another one. They taking, little, a series of data, 3 days here, 4 days there. I mean, even they got rid of all their crime, they still got some serious problems. But good for them if it's working.
Would you trust a white mayor of Baltimore more than a black mayor?
I think at this point, man, it's all political. Hell, they've had white mayors and shit.
Yeah, you're doing that. You're doing that, Brandon. You're doing that universal Jones shuffle. Would you trust a white mayor more than a black mayor?
No, I mean, they had a white mayor 10, 15 years ago, recently.
Okay, the Brandon Jones shuffle.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you know what's interesting?
Yeah, motherfucker, I know it's fine.
It's kind of like he was like Rahm Emanuel in a sense that, he failed upwards. O'Malley, I think he became, some Democrat, something. I mean, no one's really had much luck there. But
Stanley, Stanley, did you actually look at the report that this meme comes from?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Did you actually look at the report that they're grabbing these statistics from?
There's no actual like long-term data. It's all short-term stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put the. Well, let me see. I'll put it in the back for you.
And crime is so broad. I wonder.
Yeah.
Different categories.
Ding, ding, ding! You got it, John. Cherry picked. The crime ain't changed.
Now, hold on one sec. I do have 3 local like TV reports. It's not just this. But again, even with the TV reports, the local news channel reports, it's very short term. Just it's just a blip. You have to, since you like data so much, Universal, the more data you have. But I'm curious. I was really just curious to see what you thought about it. I mean, that's a dramatic number.
Yeah, if that number is real.
Well, if it bears out, because it's not real.
Well, I mean,
you don't take down crime 62% unless it's over a month or 2.
I mean, but
even I know that.
But I mean, you're gonna have to keep it down, otherwise it's just a blip.
Well, no, it's not going to be 62. That ain't real. However, I think they're just looking over a summer, maybe.
Maybe,
yeah. They're comparing last summer to this summer, is what they did. I put the link in the back chat for the summary of the crime report that they were referencing here.
Okay.
I would, honestly, I would love for them to be like, just be explicit, man. Like, if we could get the murders down to like 250, it's still kind of high.
John, I actually think he is being explicit about that.
Has he really? Okay, there you go. I used to listen to WBAL all the time before we were streaming here.
Well, I got at least one BAL, not radio. I think it's they have a TV station.
Yeah, it is WBAL TV, WBAL radio. We should listen to it sometime, man. It's we should stream somewhere. Yeah, it's
Well, what do you want to do with this, Universal?
Well, it's kind of hard to see on the screen. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see on the screen. But I did look this up when you brought this to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Oh, are you sharing? And I'm still sharing. And
ultimately, can you enlarge it? I think, did I put it up there? No. You know what? You go ahead and take it back, because I did the same thing you did.
Let's see.
I did the same thing you did. Let me enlarge it.
Yeah, if you can enlarge it on your end, that'd be good. I'm actually not logged in through the StreamYard where I can control things.
You need me to edge it back, Universal? I think
you can, or you can just, or whoever's sharing right now, whoever's got the screen shared, they can just zoom in on the PDF where it says 100%. Probably go to about 150.
All right, well, you do it.
All right, yeah. All right. So that's my screen there. Okay. So this is the summary from the Baltimore Police Department. It's just comparing pretty much June of 2024 to June of 2025, the crime statistics. Now, they're not breaking any of this down by race. All right. They're just overall numbers here. What crime should we focus on first, Stanley?
Well, I don't know. You are the anti-black violence.
You want to talk about rape, Stanley? What do you want?
Look, you're in control.
Because there's really not.
Let me do, because I know John's going to say something.
Well, he said I have.
Oh, no, I'm just messing with you.
Well, there's really not a significant difference. I mean, sure.
Right, but let me tell you, and this is hope from the left. It is something. It's not nothing.
You know, I think honestly,
You gotta start somewhere, Universal.
you know, as you said that, Stanley, you know, my thought was, you know, I think the what is interesting about the left, you know, the left that lives in the inner cities, right? It's typically where, you know, they have a strong voice. At some point, they're going to have to speak up. You know what I'm saying? Because they're getting driven into smaller and smaller corners. And this is not, you know, it's significant off a high base. You know, it is something off of a high base. And, you know, I talked about it all the time, man, insurance rates, everything, schools, everything, you know, all kind of flows from here.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting.
And that's the impact. Stanley, earlier you asked, you know, what's the impact of these small majority of urban blacks that do this stuff? They drive businesses out. They drive insurance rates up.
Okay, and you know what? Whoa. Before you get up on your little horse.
Anti-black horse.
What is, motherfucker, you're an anti-black black. So is John.
My horse is black.
But whoa, you seem to not understand what my point was. What's
your point?
Most black people don't live in these neighborhoods.
Why does that point matter?
Okay,
help me understand why that's significant.
Because people like you and the other anti-black blacks cannot be specific when you make these criticisms. That is the point. Okay, when you talk about a black problem, say a motherfucking urban black problem. That is my point. You are not smart enough, and I think it's intentional. You just want to go, it's a black problem because all the imperialists of the world are going to give you money. That's my point. Be more motherfucking specific is my point. If you want to make a criticism, be all scientific method about it.
Can you look at an urban black?
Motherfucker, don't you interrupt me. What I want you to do is be specific, John Galt. Don't just say the blacks. Motherfucking say which blacks. And if you cannot fucking figure that out, you confirm the fuzzy dice between your ears that I think you are.
I don't know. I can't distinguish.
I don't care about I need
you
you to understand my point. I need you to understand my point. Y'all sound motherfucking ignorant and like you can't understand what numbers mean.
So it's the urban blacks.
Yeah.
Dude, are urban blacks like rural blacks, motherfucker? Is everyone supposed to be like John Galt?
I'm willing to
stop babbling. This question is to Mr. John Galt. Motherfucker, no one's like you. If you choose to be an urban landlord, that's not my problem. If people are shooting in your fucking backyard or your lane, that's a you problem, not a black problem. Motherfucker, you disagree?
No, I didn't disagree.
It is a you problem. It is an urban landlord problem. It is a fucking Southeast DC problem. It's not Stanley down in motherfucking small town Georgia problem. Now, is it?
Nope.
Okay, then stop looping all the black people in America into your motherfucking toxicity. Motherfucker. And you too, Universal Jones, you actually kind of disappointed me. Motherfucker, you actually do not understand what numbers mean.
The Southern blacks ought to paint their lips white or something.
The Southern blacks, motherfucker, accept my point.
Hey, you symbol, nigga.
The Southern blacks don't give a fuck about you, John Galt.
KCL want to run an
Stop
Airbnb.
looping us into your personal toxicity.
Okay, so you're a Southern black too. You said okay.
No, motherfucker. Am I in the South?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're Southern black.
Motherfucker, you gave up your Southern roots.
And when you were up here,
You're a Northern boy now.
weren't you in the North? You were in the North.
Doing all that motherfucker.
You were in the North.
I go to DC
No,
to
you were
New
Southern
York.
black.
I will do nothing in New York but sit around.
Did you when you were living in the North in Rhode Island?
Oh, don't ask me about me. We're talking about you,
I'm
motherfucker.
saying you're a Southern black, correct?
This is John Galt.
You're a Southern black, correct?
I never talk about black people being like me, but you talk about black people being like you. Motherfucker, dude, I don't make mistakes like Johnny Boy. That shit was obvious.
Are you a Southern black?
No, motherfucker, I'm a smart black. What are you? What the fuck are you?
I'm
a black motherfucker who can read a book. What about you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a black motherfucker who doesn't need pot and cheap beer to be amusing. What about you?
Gotcha.
Yeah, motherfucker, you heard me.
What's so interesting about you?
You know what? I don't give a fuck if anyone does. I interest me.
Okay. What about you is interesting?
I interest me. Stop asking me stupid questions.
I'm sure you're interesting.
I don't expect you to be interested, motherfucker. Why would I?
I didn't say you expect me to be interested.
Well, you keep asking me stupid questions. I'm gonna tell you. I don't care if I'm interested in me.
I'm about to find my camera. I was all packed up here.
You better find it. I better care. Right?
Where's my camera here? I was all packed up, ready to go.
And you know what? This little Lulu, I'm gonna start calling her Skip to Malou.
Where's my camera here?
Dude, you still looking for that camera? I bet it's in your refrigerator, right next to that case of beer.
I got so many fucking cameras in here. So many cameras.
No doubt you do, motherfucker.
So many
give us a soundboard sound for your camera. I am a holy man. You're a holy man. And your camera's holy camera too.
I'm like cameras in. All these fucking cameras in here.
So anyway, while this motherfucker fumbles around looking for a camera, what you got to say, Universal?
Ultimately,
I'm gone. John just listen. Let's be honest, y'all. John just saved my life because I didn't know what the fuck to do.
God damn, John, do you record every compliment?
That's what my kids right there, Stanley. My kids would be listening to that shit. They're like, my dad was that nigga.
You know what? You know what? If you have to put what your kids are gonna hear on a soundboard, do you want to hear what I have to say about you putting it on a soundboard? Dude, where are you in relation to your kids?
I don't even have to clip.
Okay, motherfucker. No, let's not skip to the Lindy Lou on this. Are your kids in the house with you?
My kids in one of my houses.
Motherfucker, that's a yes no.
My father is many houses.
Dude, this is part of.
You ever heard that Bible?
The black community while being part of the problem.
What's that?
Really?
What's that Bible verse? Is that what that Bible verse? What's the Bible verse?
Motherfucker, when's the last time your kid seen you, John?
In many houses.
Motherfucker, you can skip to Lindy Lou all you want. You want me to drop the link so she can come up and succor you? Motherfucker, don't you ever tell me about the problems in the black community while you're being one of them.
Stanley, you live a whole life.
Motherfucker, don't Stanley me. You know where we stand. Motherfucker, I'm not part of the black community's problem.
No one.
You live in the hood and you are perpetuating the problem.
Stanley, you know.
Don't Stanley me.
I got you.
Don't fucking be all kind now, motherfucker.
Listen,
Motherfucker, when is the last time you saw your kids?
I love that. I'm gonna hear it again.
Yeah, you better love it. You love it, don't you?
You call me back, man.
Yeah, motherfucker. I will fucking call your dumb ass out as I see it. Don't be part of the problem.
John just saved my life. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Man, Stanley, you'll live.
Yeah, motherfucker. That's
Ain't nobody gonna ever say anything about you like that. You can live 2 lifetimes. Nobody will ever say anything
you
like
are saving soundboard bullshit for your kids to hear.
That you're a brother, you call me back.
Yes, that's right.
That's why I call you one of the holy men, John. If you heard me give you credit for being one of the holy men, because these motherfuckers, here's what these holy men do. They give it to black folks.
Bottom feeding white man confirms that. Dude, do you know how sad this sounds?
That shit sounds wonderful to me. That shit sounds wonderful like a motherfucker.
Don't trip, John. Did you find your camera?
Hey, man, I'm hooking one up. I got a fancy ass camera I'm about to hook up in this motherfucker. I feel like
I will take all kinds of pictures of my kids.
My fancy ass camera. I got a fancy camera. I never use it in this motherfucker. I'm gonna use it tonight. I got all my shit packed up.
Motherfucker, don't ever come to this panel and tell me I don't know what's going on. Motherfucker, you and I'm not going to even bring in Universal because we have further conversations. John, you need to reassess your understanding of the Black community.
Stanley.
No, motherfucker, don't you tell me I'm in mid-sentence. Don't disturb me.
Nigga, you get somebody.
Don't disturb me. Dude, I saw Wale. Wale take you apart.
Nigga, I'm glad.
You know what? I felt bad for you.
Call me back, man.
Yeah, I did.
John, that's why I call you one of the holy men, John. If you heard me give you credit
I was talking. I had Wale on this motherfucker. I went through so many goddamn.
Holy men do.
I went through so many goddamn clips.
They give it to black culture. Like
Wale had to shut the fuck up.
Can we motherfucking tell the clips? You sound like Be Brave. Which is it?
Nigga, I've been bringing that dope all day.
Nigga, is that all you can do, motherfucker? Is that all you can do, motherfucker? Say the nigga word? That is your best defense. Call someone a nigga while being a nigga. All right. Well, what you got, Universal?
You know, Stanley, I think you really ought to, you really be fucking with the wrong one. Be fucking with me. Because,
you know what?
I'm probably the wrong one.
I think I'm fucking with the right one.
I'm probably the wrong one.
No, motherfucker. It's the right one. I am fucking with the right nigga. You are that nigga, John Galt. I'm fucking with the right nigga.
You'll live 3 lifetimes. No one will ever say that about you.
Motherfucker, you know what? There's not a goddamn thing you can do about what I say now, is there?
And then if you live 1 more lifetime, you still never get this.
Motherfucker, who's caring about you?
You still never get this.
You're talking all that Egyptian shit, motherfucker. There is no reincarnation.
Let's be honest now, damn it. Let's be honest. Let's fucking be honest. If we're gonna do it, let's be honest.
Okay, you want me to be honest, Sean? You want me to be honest? Or are you asking for me to be honest? John, I heard you ask me.
Load your soundboard up.
Motherfucker, you don't want me to be honest. That's your problem.
Bro, load your soundboard up. I'll allow you to come up here and be honest.
You allow me. Hey, you know what?
Look
at it. Here's where we're gonna go.
I don't tell you what to talk about. I don't sit here and say, hey, Stan, I don't talk about that. You can talk about whatever you want to. Load your soundboard up and play whatever clips you got.
Motherfucker, my soundboard is between my ears.
That you're a brother, you call me back.
Man. And my soundboard travels all over the world. Niggas that stayed in my house.
Have fun, motherfucker. Play it from Timbuktu.
You're a brother, you call me back, man.
And in between my ears is shit like this real dope.
No, motherfucker, between your ears is real dope. That's your problem, motherfucker. I don't have
This ain't my life, nigga. I could
I
have
don't have
jump off
dope
a bridge.
between my ears,
That
Johnny
nigga
boy.
about to jump off a bridge.
I don't
and he
have
didn't understand.
dope between
No
my
one. You can
ears.
live 3 years,
I
3
don't use
lifetimes,
dope.
nigga. Nobody
I
will ever
don't
say that
use
shit. You
dope.
do understand it. You know you understand it. You
How
can
do
live
you
3 lifetimes.
think
Your
I got a
son, your
motherfucking
grandson would never
boy
hear anybody say that
where
about
he
you. You
is?
understand that?
I didn't
You
use
understand
dope.
that? Yeah, I know you
I
understand.
don't use dope, motherfucker. I don't use dope.
I think we've all made it clear here.
I think I have made it clear to you that you don't motherfucking cut the mustard, son. You don't cut the mustard. Stop trying to keep up.
And when they ask you about, they say, "Why are you in the hood, my nigga?" They say,
"Stop trying to keep up."
I'm blessed that you're a brother. You call me back, man.
Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Well, let's see what's going on in the chat. Lindy Lou loves you, John. Lindy Lou, I think John needs you to be a cheerleader. Let's see here. Let me drop the link. You want to call Lindy Lou up, John? You think she'll come up if you ask her to? John, you still there?
Yeah, give me a minute. I'm looking for my fucking camera here.
Still?
Shit. Fuck the camera.
All right, well, anything else, Universal?
I don't feel like hooking this fucking fancy camera out.
Nah, I ain't got much else. I stayed a little longer than I expected. I'm gonna hop off here in a few minutes.
Oh, you better hear that, Universal.
No doubt you will jump off.
I'm not running.
Oh, wait, hold it. I didn't use the R word.
Universe, I saw some Somalis running wild out there in Minnesota.
Oh yeah. They pretty much had their own Independence Day.
Oh yeah, them niggas got it going on out there. Damn, it's crazy. Damn.
Well, let's see. One anti-black is looking for a camera, and the other anti-black is looking for something to say.
I quit looking.
Interesting.
I quit looking for that motherfucker. I got so much shit hooked up.
So, Stanley, how would you classify yourself? Are you a pro-black? Are you a non-anti-black? What is the terminology for where you are, who you are?
I'm Stanley Cross. No, dude, I'm dead serious.
Interesting.
I mean, if you want to talk politics, I'm pretty much center left. But, dude, there are fools to the right of me. What's that? What is it? I can't even remember the song. It's the 70s. Fool to the right of me, clowns to the left of me, back in the middle again. Dude, most people, and this is part of my parenting argument. Kids aren't told they need to read books anymore. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, Lindy Lou, for instance, is roughly my age. Obviously, we had different upbringing. Lindy Lou is literally like, you remember back in the day, back in the old days, you would connect a hose to like a sprinkler.
I'll bring it back, guys.
That is Lindy Lou. You put her in the middle of a lawn and she's just going to spray water everywhere. She will cover everybody with something. So, did I answer your question, Universal?
You did answer it. I'm still not clear if you have a title.
Oh,
outside.
motherfucker, you don't have to be clear. Look, my parent, let's put it in a way maybe you can understand it. And I didn't even know at the time. And my father's still alive, by the way, and in good shape. My parents raised me to be confident.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to think. And you know what? You don't do this without good parenting. And I told you, maybe not you specifically, but I don't know, someone when my son was 4, or at a family reunion. My wife's family used to do every year. My grandmother-in-law died at 97, but when I met them, she was 89 or so. So every year, same place. So uh, someone asked my son who he was. It was some joke, and you know what? My son was so sincere at that time. I'm Trevor Cross. There was no doubt in his mind. You know, some play on words or something. Nope. In the end, I am who I am. And you know what? When he said that unprompted, that's probably the proudest moment. The motherfucker knows who he is. At 4 or 5, you don't know what you can do. But I know the motherfucker. My son is capable. And I raised him to be that way. So fuck the ghetto bullshit. Fuck it all. I am Stanley Cross. My son is who he is. And you know what? My parents raised me to be who I am. My son was raised to be who he is because he's confident. Fuck it. All the bullshit about, ooh, you didn't grow up in the ghetto and all that bullshit. You not down. You'll be brave. And this actually, and Lindy Lou's kind of right, because it galls me to be compared to that fucking motherfucker. Can't even pour concrete. He has to buy bricks or whatever the fuck it was for him to build that outhouse on. Grass grows up between those bricks, by the way. I am who I am. My son is who he is. And that's the best thing a black man can be. Never doubt who the fuck you are. So, that's my response. And it was way too long.
Got it. Understood.
You are the mental health professional. Am I megalomaniacal or?
Oh,
See,
no. You're
right.
definitely the dark triad for sure. You just play all elements of all three of those.
Well, motherfucker, for better or for worse, I'm 60. I know who the fuck I am. I come from a solid family. My son comes from a solid family. We are who we are.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, if there's anything I can ever do to help, but you know what? I told you about the buddy of mine who's from the ghetto in Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I might cause more problems than I help. And you know what? When you, Universal, say, hey, Stanley, I need you to do a specific thing, don't think I won't. When John Galt goes, oh, hey, you know what? This is something you're good at. I need you to do this. Don't think I won't. But I'm not going to motherfucking go into a place I don't understand and make the problem worse.
Understood. I don't think that there is any definite solution. I think the best thing we can do is take care of your own family, the folks you have immediate reach around, and model specific behaviors. And then when people do come to you for help, if you can show them know-how.
Well, you and I agree on that. Huddle in place.
That's the best thing.
Yep.
I mean, because ultimately, I think you're going up against culture, and I don't think any one person can change that.
Well, when you say culture, which culture?
It's
And we should do a series of shows. I don't, I'm not going to fuss too much tonight. But when you say culture, to me, that's rather general. Black culture didn't hatch, from the from the brain.
Oh, I know. It didn't happen overnight either. It took time to get where we are. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have some ideas and some research that lead me to where where I am today and how we got here.
That's what we need to talk about.
Well, it's not easy to talk about when you cut me off every 5 minutes.
Well, motherfucker, you know what? It should just be me and you.
I mean, I trust me. I do. I have got to this space of not hopelessness, but just understanding that we're not going to be able to change.
Have you gone all? You're not an Afro pessimist yet, are you?
No, I'm not quite there. Not quite there yet. We have to still talk about that too. I need to go back and rewatch some of those videos. I'm not quite there.
We'll have to start from scratch.
Yeah, because even those folks, they have ideas on how we can move forward, but I don't even think that's going to work. I think we're so far down this toxic rabbit hole collectively, and I say that not saying that all Blacks perpetrate the same behavior, but I do think that most Blacks support it, and that's part of the problem.
You're absolutely wrong,
and I understand that, and that's fine.
I don't do that 70% buying in. Look, Be Brave he has some good instincts. He is a jolly little elf. The motherfucker does not know anything. Everything Be Brave knows is from YouTube videos.
Be Brave cannot exist, and I still have the same.
But the problem is,
to me, it has nothing to do with Be Brave.
Be Brave is not alone, dude. There's Orthodox guy.
Honestly, Stanley, my perspective of this has nothing to do with any of these white YouTubers or white people at all.
Well, you know what? Actually, Universal, you might have a point. And I think what surprises me is how stupid some of these motherfuckers are. I mean, literally, and I'm not even being hyperbolic. They literally don't know anything. They just make the shit up, or some YouTube video they take is like, definitional. At least you, and this is a compliment, at least you know shit. I could name names. Garion is a fucking young moron. It's like this motherfucker.
Leave Gary alone. That's my buddy.
Well, you know what? He'll be okay if I say it. Well, let me ask you a question. You don't think I'd say it to his face?
No, I know you will.
No, I hope I hope I'm helping. No, but serious. No. And let me just make it quick because I know I'm taking up too much time. Orthodox, Denizen, Powdered, Dusty, all these motherfuckers, Snowman, fucking Monkey Mayo, these motherfuckers are morons. They're not even smart white people.
Why do they bother you so much, Stanley?
Because they are a symptom of why America's crashing. But wait, you don't know that Mayo Monkey is literally at the controls of crashing the American project? We got too many Mayo monkeys. Okay, you don't think I'm right?
I don't know. I don't know if you're right or wrong.
Okay, well,
I don't focus my attention on the white YouTube
all I'm
analysts.
saying, see, you are rather neutral when it comes to the Mayo monkeys, but you are rather sure about Tyrone in the Hood. Universal, you're a fucking anti-black. No, and I'm not even
I'll take
being
it.
okay. You don't know about a motherfucking moron like Denizen or Orthodox. These motherfuckers are half-wits.
But I don't see them
You
you know,
don't see
tearing
it's
up
your problem.
Airbnbs,
You
shooting up
don't,
graduation.
motherfucker, who gives a shit about Airbnb?
I don't see any of that. I don't see
Motherfucker,
them running
you
businesses out
don't
of their
see
local
is your
downtown.
problem. You cannot look, and I'm not gonna fuss back and forth, but if you don't see, I can't help you. Orthodox is a motherfucking moron trying to sound smart. Be Brave is this motherfucker spent 3 weeks on an outhouse sized building. I heard about what he was doing.
Wendy.
Okay, you didn't see he took pictures. He was so
No, I seen his photos of it.
motherfucker, you spent 3 weeks building that? It's not even a concrete pad. Motherfucker. It's dude. So I'm
I have a
not
question
gonna,
for you.
I am simply not gonna look at Be Brave as some like paragon of white culture or Western civilization. The motherfucker is literally laughable. Don't tell me about the I don't even think Be Brave could walk standing up into that building.
Mhm. Who do you think is more of the problem, the anti-blacks or these white panelists? These
The anti-blacks, the anti-black blacks. I've
yes.
said this several times. The internal rot is more white racists. We know about them. They're in the history books. It's the John Galts that are the problem. It's internal rot. And they don't know shit. John Galt doesn't know shit. And look at him. You see him? Well, you know what? Let's put him on the big screen.
He's obviously having a phone conversation or something.
I don't give a fuck. I said what I said.
The hell?
The anti-black blacks, the internal rot, it is literally like an implosion. John Galt is a bigger problem than Be Brave. And I'll say it to his face, I've told him. Lindy Lou will deliver my motherfucking cold food and knock on my door and leave it on the porch. She's not the problem. She's not a genius. John Galt is smart.
I have another question for you, Stanley.
Oh, whoa. I need you to understand. Do you understand why I say this?
I understand why I don't agree with it, but I
Yeah.
understand why.
Okay, well, you don't have to agree. If you are black and you're from within the culture, John Galt is from Alabama. Okay, this motherfucker is steeped in the same black culture that I am. I might be a little cityfied. He has a master's degree. I don't have a master's degree. The motherfucker's educated and he actually thinks black culture resides next door in his buildings. John Galt grew up in the hood. I did not. John Galt thinks black culture is hood culture. That's why it's an implosion. And then little motherfuckers like a Nate, for instance, Ock Nation, motherfucker, it's a virus. These motherfuckers are morons. Ock Nation is a cancer.
Wow.
Oh, did I stutter? You don't think he is?
No.
Well, I do. I think that motherfucker has never. I've been in his chat trolling. When's the last, dude? I will literally talk about black people doing something positive. This motherfucker fucking, he's got an internet version of a police scanner. This motherfucker wants every day, all day, want to hear about Chicago and black people killing black people. Most black people do not live in the hood. And I don't give a fuck what happens in Chicago because I don't live in Chicago. We can't all care about people we never knew, have no relationship to. And I'm sorry if it sounds callous, but I think people like you and John Galt are the problem.
Most black people don't think like me and John Galt.
You're in. I will finish what I'm going to say. While you're trying to solve the problem, you are the problem. Mela, part of the problem. No, seriously, Mela's part of the problem.
Oh man.
Motherfucker, you half-use words, don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and then you want to come up and be all mad when I tell you you can't actually make sense. Get all pissed off.
Are you referring to me or Mela right now?
You know what? What's the difference? That's a joke. That's a joke. That is a joke, Universal. You know what the fuck you're doing. That's why it's so upsetting.
Oh man. I don't know, Stanley. I mean, I think there's some, like many, I guess this was a debate. I felt like it wasn't, but like many conversations, there's going to be places where we land in the same spot, and there's going to be places where we differ, and that's fine. That's how you learn. I think that's discourse. I definitely do not agree that I'm part of the problem. I'll speak for myself. And if you use the same train of logic, majority of us who are part of the problem, us anti-blacks, we are not the majority of the people.
You know what?
So
bingo, you're not the majority. That's what's so upsetting. Motherfuckers, most people aren't John Galt. Most people aren't you. Most black people don't live in the hood. You are from the hood apparently, and John Galt is fucking keying like a motherfucking girl, probably talking to his la. However, motherfucker, and this is I'm gonna get up on my moral high horse. This motherfucker doesn't live with his kids.
Oh boy, can you drop the link?
Motherfucker, I said it. Okay, and that y'all want to fucking worship a motherfucker who is part of the problem is hilarious.
Can you drop the link for speak?
Okay, motherfuckers, y'all will sit here. The motherfucker, dude, it is disgusting for I'm all goddamn black motherfucker. I took care of my son when, everyone was like, well, no, don't do it. It is disgusting to hear a black father who's fucking skipping out when I went all the motherfucking in. And yep, only one kid. But you know what? I also was very responsible. The one kid I did get, where is he? Motherfucker, y'all don't understand what I did. y'all want to denigrate it, and not you specifically, Universal, but
Sure.
motherfucker. I literally told my son, if you want to go there, motherfucker, you better earn it. But y'all want to think I'm all dilettante and all that shit. I told my son to goddamn earn it.
I don't think anyone did it. I don't think anyone.
Okay, motherfucker, fuck your failure of an ass. I earned it. My son earned it. I told him how to. I helped him do it. I don't want to hear the failure of a black man who doesn't live with his kids.
Oh, you still talking about me, Stanley?
Oh yeah, motherfucker.
Hey, you know that.
Where are your kids?
You know, Chris.
You and HB. Okay, bitch, you fucked up when you fucked with me. I will fuck with you every time I don't see a baby in your lap. Yeah, motherfucker. No, don't Stanley me, motherfucker. Don't we have this conversation? And I need motherfucker, all that fake bullshit, all that bumpkin Uncle Remus bullshit does not work with me. What I need you to know is do not bring up my son. You've done it one too many times, and I'm still pissed off about you and HB. Motherfucker, y'all are both failures. So who do I need to drop the link for? They're Universal.
I think that Speak was gonna. I think Speak was asking. Yeah, Speak was asking for it, but I think it's been dropped.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's coming up.
Yeah, motherfucker. John.
Yeah.
I think we have come to an understanding. There's a difference between a software developer and a software engineer.
The terms are interchangeable.
Motherfucker. Of course, you know the other interchangeable term is software developer and data entry.
Say what you like.
Dude, I actually have done. No, motherfucker. See, what you don't see, this is what you're gonna have to understand. You are, motherfucker, my brother, bitch, is your age. You know, you tell me, what was your first job in high school, John?
My first job, I told you.
Motherfucker, I don't care what you told me. Tell the audience.
I'll tell you again.
Motherfucker, I didn't remember because it was just
whenever you ready.
Motherfucker, I'll never be ready for your stupidity.
Nigga, I worked 2 jobs in high school.
Nigga, I don't care. Nigga, you met a nigga that doesn't give a fuck. You should have worked 3, bitch.
I'll try. If I had time.
Motherfucker, I'm not talking about now.
You know what
the reason I even motherfucking bring it up, you want to talk about you dumb son of a bitch. You want to talk, motherfucker. You want to talk. You want to talk college lawyers and how great you are, motherfucker. My brother is your age. You know what his first? You know what my brother's first job was?
I had to order me some tequila.
Okay, I haven't been able to tell you this, Sean. My brother's first job was building computers. And you want to know who got him that job? My father.
You know my first job was?
But no, motherfucker. You will listen to your failure of an asshole.
I'm about to show you how much of a failure.
Okay, motherfucker, I don't give a fuck. My brother was like making $20,000. Now, this is back in the fucking I don't know, early 90s. The dude started building computers. Then he started doing websites for fucking corporations. This motherfucker was like 15, 16 years old. Okay, don't tell me about what black people can do with computers. This motherfucker was a developer at 16. And you know what? He still does computers. The motherfucker does well. So he is smarter than Philippe. Philippe is a motherfucking failure who can't get a wife. And you telling me about Commodores? Motherfucker, I bought 2 Commodores with my own lawnmower money. You are normal. You aren't an exception, is my point. Motherfucker, I had my brother. Yeah, smile, motherfucker. Now you know you aren't exceptional. So, speak radio.
What's going on, Stanley? Can you hear me
Oh,
okay?
I'm on a fucking jack. These motherfucking anti-black blacks are just annoying. This motherfucker wants to talk about, did a whole motherfucking show about his Commodore computer. Motherfucker, I still have my Commodore computer. They still motherfucking work. I trained my brother. Fucking, we used to play Castle Wolfenstein on my. The motherfucker was making like a lot of. Dude didn't rake lawns, and I have a problem with that. The motherfucker's first job in high school at 14 was motherfucking fixing computers, and then they figured out he could design websites. This motherfucker was literally designing websites for corporations at 16. So this little Alabama Bama bullshit, like, motherfucker, good for you. There are black people who did it better, son. And this is for John Gall. Motherfucker, you ain't an exception. You are an exception now because you want to talk about shit you don't know. It is a problem. You are the fucking black hole that is pulling the whole black community into that little room you sit in day after day.
So let me ask you something, Stanley. Is this stream in response to Universal's show earlier?
It is.
Listen, I'm blessed. I'm blessed that you're a brother. You call me back, man.
Yeah, this dumb son of a bitch wants to play his soundboard.
Load yours up. What people gonna say?
You know what? Here is how it's gonna go. This motherfucker, he can't get live compliments. I just told him he's not exceptional. And
That was live. Nigga, that was live.
Smoke some
Nigga, that
pot.
was live. When he was live, that was live.
Motherfucker, why aren't you in New York right now? Motherfucker, who told you you couldn't catch the train?
When he was live, that was live. When he was alive, that was live.
I thought you were going to New York a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. When he was live, Stanley.
Where are you, motherfucker? You're not in New York.
Blessed that you're a brother. You call me back, man.
You got to be 60. Nobody's gonna say that about you, my man. Nobody. Load your stream deck up. What you got?
Well,
John, that's why I call you one of the holy men, John. If you heard me,
yeah, look at this
being one of the holy men.
A bottom feeding white boy.
They give it to black
feel
folks.
good.
It needs to be given with both fucking barrels.
I could pull up that bitch taking a shower, and on it goes. I didn't live a whole life like this.
No motherfucker wants to be scraping up dead bodies.
I'm blessed.
Dude, that is your business. It is not something I would want my son to do.
Man, I'm gone. John just, listen, let's be honest, y'all. John just saved my life because I didn't know what the fuck to do.
I am that nigga. You live a whole life.
You will be that nigga till you will be that nigga till you die. I will be that nigga till I die.
You come back and live another whole life, and we would do a stream deck wars here. See what you got. My children's children We hear that.
And I'm listen. I'm blessed. I'm blessed that you're a brother. You call me back, man.
That ain't no motherfucking book there. That's real life. That's real life, my nigga.
Motherfucker, that's your real life.
I wrote this book.
This is amazing. You think all niggas live like you, John Galt? Should they live like you, John Galt? This is motherfucking nigga heaven in that room.
Like, honestly, bro, what you don't understand here, bro. My children.
I don't have to understand.
What my children.
What I don't understand.
What my children can.
I don't have to understand. Don't need to understand.
What my children can say right now.
What you need to do is live your life. Stop fucking acting like we give a fuck about you.
My father has many rooms.
I do not give a fuck.
My father has many rooms.
You are not that nigga. You are a soundboard.
Do you remember that verse from the Bible where it said, "My father has prepared a place. He has many rooms."
Oh, dude, you're really gonna bring the Bible?
Nigga, I said,
motherfucker, no love and Freezy know more about that shit than you do. I'm not gonna listen to you about the Bible.
Shit, they talking about what's in the book. I'm talking about what's.
Motherfucker, what else? What is the Bible?
You know what my children say? My father had many rooms.
Motherfucker, who cares about your father? You got a good story?
Yeah. Oh,
well, tell us the story, motherfucker, and stop talking about the book.
Man, I'm gone.
There's one story right there.
John just listen. Let's be honest, y'all. John just saved my life. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
We hear that.
You know what? I'm afraid you're gonna teach your children to pronounce children as children.
Oh man, that's funny, Stanley.
Tough guy, motherfucker. If you come up here, it's gonna be a short leash. And John, you get to decide. I'm not dealing with this motherfucker.
You gotta be talking about shit.
Your choice, John.
It's up to you, Stanley. You who run the show? You run the show. I just
You know what?
I've been working all day.
Okay, let me put it to you this way, John. Tough guy. You're up here by the grace of John. I'm gonna blame John. I'm gonna tell him when your ass gets tossed off, it's gonna be John's fault.
Why y'all niggas be scared of me, man?
Oh, wait. Motherfucker, we pity you.
You pity me.
Okay,
okay.
See, dude, I've heard you on Mo Love show. I've heard you on several shows. Dude, you perceive yourself.
Yeah, I'm crazy, nigga. You know that.
Is crazy a good crazy or bad crazy?
And what do you think? What am I, bad crazy or good crazy?
You don't ask me what I think, because I will hurt your feelings.
What's up, Stan? What's up, my nigga? What's happening?
Motherfucker, you were just talking to me.
What's going on, John?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Well, let me tell you, Speak Radio.
Speak. I didn't know Speak was there. What's up, my nigga?
Okay.
What's going on?
Speak Radio, you never come up on this, and I've been over talking. So please have your say.